Welcome back, guys. My name is Darmsy.
Hello,
I have
I'm
on
on
L
L.
with me.
That's me.
This will be Blinx 2, Masters of Time and Space. Whenever you're ready, man, take it away.
Alright, well this is, as it was said, Blinx 2, Masters of Time and Space. Sequel to the old 2002 Blinx the Time Sweeper, released for the Xbox. This is a sequel where you both play as the Time Sweepers and the Tom-Toms, both the heroes and the villains. That there's just something that's set up already at the start. If you fill up all the available save files in the game, you can just play a game without saving, thus eliminating all the required saving times, not loading. And one of the biggest things for this game is that you can customize your own characters. So I'm going to need what the donation was for the Time Sweeper name now, please.
Your Time Sweeper name is Squish. $22.46. Thank you very much.
Is it just single capital? All capitals?
Yeah, one capital.
So wait, gotta remember how to spell. Squish. There we go. So yeah, in the first game you played as the titular Blinx the Time Sweeper, but in this you can customize your own Time Sweepers. This universe, like, there's two people, the Time Sweepers, a group of cats who are like guardians and custodians of time, and a group of pigs called the Tom-Tom Gang, who are bandits and thieves who steal time and profit by selling it to other worlds. Okay, are you ready on the time? Because we're about to begin.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we're starting off the game here with tutorials. A lot of them. And we're going to skip them all. These are just basic controls like how to move, how to control the camera, basic actions you can do in the game, how to just interact with the world. Basically, the closest things I can think of for a comparison is in the new Crash 4 game, the Dingo Dial levels is really similar to how the Time Sweepers play. Basically, what you have as a weapon is called a Time Sweeper. It's basically like a vacuum cleaner that can suck up items from the environment and use them to shoot out at enemies. However, their main gimmick is using something called time controls. There's 5 different controls you can use in the game to manipulate the world around you, which is pause to pause time, rewind to rewind it, fast forward to go faster, slow to slow everything down, and record, which is to play a little bit, have it rewind, and have the record play back what you did while you do something else. Okay, so we're getting right into it. Basically, the story of this game is that the leader of the Tom-Tom Gang, Benito, touched an item called the Big Crystal, and in doing so, shattered it, causing time to go completely awry all over the universe. So the Time Sweepers have to find and collect the pieces of the shattered Big Crystal and put it back together to prevent time from collapsing. Here, we've located one of the pieces of the Big Crystal, and to get there we need to find our way past some barricades. Here we can either... a major theme for the game is also like deciding which way to tackle these problems, because we can either, for this one, blow up the door using some bombs, or get a key to open it up. Key's faster. And like the choice of which way to go in a mission is pretty consistent throughout like the entire game. It's like you can offer up 1 or 2 ways to complete a mission. That there was like a cannon, which triggers like a reactive time control to get around it. They're pretty commonplace, and there's ways to just like avoid them all the time. And there's several missions, as you just saw there, that transition between each stage. Between all those, I lose all of my ammo and time controls, but they get converted into money. So even though it looks like I'm starting fresh with every area, or I'm not gathering any money, I'm still very prepared for both. So what I just did there was a switch skip, which I triggered a cutscene, and then I also triggered the cutscene again of flipping the switch. It's kind of overwrites both of them. So that's one quick thing. And now I'm going to quickly use the reactive pulse from that cannon to quickly run over and get the bomb on that bridge to prevent it being blown up. Otherwise I would have had to grab a rewind and fix it, and that would waste time. Now the objective here is to get some batteries to power a helicopter. We're going for the big batteries that are being held by these Carafish, and it can be randomly in any 2 of the 5 that are here. And looks like I got bad RNG because this guy has one of the batteries there. It's not the worst combination, but there we go. Got the batteries. And now I'm going to turn around, sneak around, and head back the way we came instead of going out the normal exit to the stage. It's much faster to get those batteries because not only do I have to get 2 of them instead of any of the 4 small batteries in the Tom-Toms, all those Carafish are tightly close up together in that one area. So it's much faster to just go to that one spot, grab the batteries and go out instead of going over the entire map to get all the Tom-Toms. Now we get to the first boss here, the Stone Guardian. Need to defeat him to grab the big crystal fragment. But he's not too tough. Just shoot a bomb in his leg to knock him over, shoot a bomb in his chest to damage him, get back up, no, just knock him back down again. And that's the boss. Now that usually takes 3 cycles, but that boss is the main reason why we play on easy mode instead of normal mode for this, because in easy mode, it only takes 2 cycles to beat that boss. So it's just way faster to do it that way. So then we got a piece of the big crystal, and we're heading back home. Just head back to the goal game. You got any quick donations or questions to ask?
I do, man. I have a donation that came in a couple of hours ago that I've been saving up to read for now, as per their request. So, Anna put up a $9.15 donation saying we can only free melee if we also free PM. Right now, though, we should probably hashtag free Mick. Put my donation toward Blinx
speaking of which,
name as free Mick. So,
speaking of which, I need that name now for the Tom-Toms because we've just swapped over to Blinx as the Tom-Toms.
Yeah, the winning name is hashtag free Mick, $31.22. So thank you very much for your generosity, everyone.
So is that all caps?
Nope, just capital F, capital M.
So free.
I don't know if you can do a hashtag.
Yeah, there is.
Nice.
Okay, so the story's perspectives changed a bit now. We're playing as the Tom-Toms. Now the story is that one of the daughter of the goddesses of time, Mina, is connected to the big crystal, and now that it's been shattered, she's trying to call out for help. And she appears in the dreams of the leader of the Tom-Tom gang, Benito. And Benito just becomes instantly smitten with her and sends out his Tom-Tom gang to go and collect the pieces of the big crystal for him. Oh, too early. So the Tom-Toms play quite a bit differently to the Time Sweepers. We don't have like the sweeper or the time controls. Instead, we have guns and space controls. The space controls is more focused on, like, manipulating items in the environment, or yourself. Like, there's a decoy to distract enemies, bananas to trip them up, there's time grenades to stop time, because I guess they want that somewhere in this as well, and a bunch of other things. So what we're doing here the first time is, in this first stage, is we're trying to find parts to build a TomTom radar, so we can find the big crystal pieces. Don't have much equipment though. The only weapon that we have is a slingshot. It can't do any actual damage, but a few shots will put a guard to sleep for a little bit. TomToms are focused on stealth and that, so we want to sneak around and hopefully not get spotted. Unintentionally, that is. I'm gonna put that guy to sleep so we can nick the key that he's got. Gonna push this crate over here. Get out of the way. And since we got the key, we just skipped a bunch of text there. That's one thing about this game, there's like text boxes and text triggers everywhere. And a big part of the run is just knowing where to find those triggers and how to get around them. Oh, perfect reels. Those safe reels are completely random, so I can't mash the button and just get it. So getting them first try immediately is very nice. I just picked up a map of the area and some time grenades. They're going to allow me to go further. You can sneak in a quick donation here if you want.
No donations in at the moment, but I will just remind people that next up we have a hat in time is the next incentive that's yet to be met, and that's after Crazy Jesse's DKC4 run. And where are we at the moment? $6.09 Hat Kid is in the lead to $3.91 for Bow Kid. So if you do want to see Bow Kid in a hat in time, chuck your money that way.
I just did a skip there and I almost failed at that. Oh, damn it, okay. I want to trigger that alarm on purpose to set up for a little bit of manipulation later in the level. So it's important that I hit that laser. Because lasers are on a global cycle, so they're not always in the right spot. So sometimes I need to shimmy a little bit. I'm going to poke my nose out at that guard before to just make sure he maintains sight of me for a little while. Yeah, he still sees me. So that one wants you to throw a switch so you can move a crane, get on top of it, and get around, but that is way too slow, so we just pop a time grenade there. Oh, yeah, I forgot I hadn't triggered that already. And we're gonna jump across these containers here, and we just pass that area. Put that guy to sleep so we can grab his key as well. Then we can open up this door. Inside. There's a small switch puzzle here, but it's really simple to do. Flip that switch. Flip that switch. And we crawl through the hole, and that's that part done. Now, hopefully, if I did the manipulation correctly, I should have, like, the spotted alert music playing here. Yes, good. Also, this would be a lovely time to point out that these guards in this game are really, really bad. And terrible eyesight. Terrible full peripheral vision. We just snuck around their back. So anyway, having the guard music playing skips a text box to show that there's treasure and a switch here to deactivate the alarms and such. Because there's like three mini cutscenes and text boxes would have played just there had it not been playing. So having the alarm music playing just cuts out a bit of time. Now, we're going to go out here, but we're going to use another space control here, the subspace dive. Because when we're carrying a treasure bag like that, we move a lot slower and we can't double jump. And our selection of space controls is limited, but subspace dive is one we can still use. We travel underground, we're invincible, we move a lot faster. And it gives us just enough time to get back to the goal gate. Now we have the TomTom radar, and the first piece of the big crystal that it's pointing to is the exact same crystal that we got as the Time Sweepers in Stage 1. So now we're going to go and fight the Time Sweepers and take it for ourselves. And here's one of the biggest RNG parts of the entire run, team fights. Every single item that drops around here is completely and utterly random. And since I only have slingshots, which don't deal damage, I have to run around and find weapons to beat up the enemies. And I am having very bad luck. Oh, okay, so you just... that's awful. So he just triggered iframes right when that happened. Okay, got a ray gun, that's good enough. That hammer usually instant kills enemies, but it's melee range and only has one charge in it, so it's usually... I don't go for it. Ray gun isn't the best weapon to use, but it's still decent. And that guard there, he just loves to get stuck on the environment right there like that. A lot of the time he'll just get stuck there. Okay, so that was a pretty terrible team fight. But there. And the TomToms just nicked the piece of the big crystal that we just got beforehand. And that is TomTom Stage 1. Now we go back to the Time Sweepers. We're heading to a new stage, the Destiny Ruins. But before that happens, we've got more tutorials to do. After every stage, you have to go to the shop and talk to the shopkeeper to do a rank up exam, which is basically just more tutorials to explain what you're going to encounter in the next one. And there's no realistic way that we can skip these. It's basically like hard-coded into the game or something that unless you get the rank ups here, you cannot progress. Because they not only unlock more stuff to buy in the shops and other stuff you can use, but until you do them, you're physically barred for going into the... Oh, I don't want to go into the shop yet. You're physically barred for going into the next stage. Like, there'll be an NPC there who will grab you and turn you around every time you try to go there until you've done the exam, but even if you manage to get past him, the gate won't open until you actually do it, so there's no point in getting past him. You're locked on 2 accounts. But anyway, we found another piece of the big crystal here, but we need to get to Destiny Plaza to do it. To open the way to Destiny Plaza, we either have to destroy these statues or find and press 7 switches around the area. We're going to be pressing some switches. We're going to need a rewind from you. Another rewind. Okay. Those time monsters also have a chance to drop a pause. If they did, they will save some time, but unfortunately not. There, you're supposed to use the rewind and wait until the trap deactivates, but it's much faster to take a damage boost and use the rewind to have the boulder shove you up the slope. So, take a little bit of damage, but it's a lot faster. In this room, since we don't have a pause, we'll have to do it the slow way, but we want to hug the left there to make sure the pillars on the right don't fall over. We're going to use them in just a moment. use the pause to take out that time monster. Grab his time crystals. Gonna wait and stand on the button. Also, this would be a good time to point out slopes. There's a lot of slopes in this game across all the stages, and they're slow to walk up. So you want to try and jump up them whenever you have a chance. And there's plenty of chances all throughout the run, and it's actually key to nailing up. There's a little skip that we'll see in the stage further on. Find out what happens. Okay, that bit of movement there, pressing that trap switch and moving such in a way, also skipped another long text box, so seeing that bridge get blown up. So that just saves a tiny bit of time there. And also pressing the trap switch is important because even if it was a trap, it adds another button press to our total to clear for this level, and it means we have to press one less switch here, because otherwise we'd have to go across this big cross fan and press the switch in that room, which would involve us having to use pause multiple times. Or if we just press the switch beforehand, the door's open already. So we only need one time control to go forward across this fan and be at the exit. And that's stage 1. Well, mission 1 of the second stage. Alright, with a small cameo from Blinx, he's pressing the switch to try to open the path, but he accidentally presses the wrong one. So it triggers reactive. You need to get a rewind really quick, and rewind the trap that you triggered. We're able to continue forward. Yeah, Blinx is in the game. You don't ever play as him though, you only play as your own time sweepers. He appears in some cutscenes, but I'm skipping all of those, and that's really the only time he appears on the stage. Also, the story part, no time sweepers there just reported that they fought the Tom Tom gang and took a big crystal from them. Not the same one that we got in the first stage, that's another one they achieved off screen. There's 8 in total, and some are just retrieved off screen, even though we get a lot in the game. It actually confused me when I first played, it seemed like the count was inconsistent. And yeah, that's that part that we just did there when we ran up the slope. That's what I was talking about before about jumping up slopes being faster. Because normally you were supposed to use a pause control to be able to get past both the sliding wall and the arrow trap at once. But if you time your movement and jump up in time, you can skip having to get that because the time... Oh, I thought I hit time control. We want to use a pause here because there's a cannon there and we don't want to trigger it because of especially because of that sliding wall there, because it triggers reactive and it's nearly impossible to get good timing. Okay. That cutscene there telling you to jump over the wall is important, because we need to trigger it in order for this time monster here to spawn. He's very important because he drops the best time control in the game, fast forward. We're going to abuse it a lot. Because it makes you go super fast, gives you a lot more momentum, jump height and speed, and also all the shots you do with it deal double damage. All in all, it's incredibly useful. But we, after pressing that switch, we're going to go back, we're going to get another fast forward from him. And this fast forward will take us to the end of the level. because the objectives in this level was to either find Kerafish and defeat them and get 4 keys to open up the path, or press that switch right there to unlock the path to the exit. Also, that item right in front of me, that's a cat medal. That's basically the game's collectibles, and we want to avoid grabbing them. We want to do that because if we do, we have to watch them being added to our collection at the end of the stage, and that's slow. Especially if it randomly lands on one of the unlocks for one of the gallery pieces. Now, for the boss of the area, the giant Mandrake. This guy is really big RNG part of the run for 2 separate reasons, and he's a bit of a run killer. First of all, I'm just going to let him fire some trash at me so I can build up my ammo. And what I'm going to do next is shoot back at him. This causes him to drop rewind crystals. We want as many of them to land close to each other as possible. I didn't get best spread, because I want to grab 2 rewinds. Good. Because the moment you get enough time crystals to get 1 rewind, he'll slam the ground to destroy all the other time crystals. So getting more helps. This is the second part of RNG. When you use a rewind, he'll split into these little pieces here. And you hit those in order to damage him. But he has a damage cap with how many you can hit, so it will always take a minimum of 3 cycles to beat this boss. So getting as many rewinds as you can within 1 cycle of parts is important to save time. Also, those little pieces can be incredibly erratic, and they can just go everywhere. I hope I get another pause, or slow. Because having that as a backup is good to make sure they sit still.
Do you mind if I sneak in a quick donation there?
Yes, because I just beat the boss and it takes a long time to go through all the cutscenes.
Excellent. So we have $17.76 from Isnert saying, "Hey, #1 Mick fan here. If possible, please play the Mick cutscene. It is beauty, it is grace. Not biased, I swear. Hashtag free Mick."
I had plans to do that already. Just for the marathon. Any others?
No, that's it for now, man. But I would just like to say thanks to everyone for tuning in to Oz Speedruns and Fast 2020. Oz Speedruns is a group of Australian and New Zealand speedrunners who run different charity event speedrun marathons throughout the year. Fast 2020 is raising money for the Royal Flying Doctors Service. These brave people work to provide 24-hour emergency medical and primary health care to anyone who works or travels in rural Australia. Covering a landmass of 7.69 million square kilometres, they provide emergency care no matter how remote the location. So really great charity, guys. Definitely worth putting your money towards. And if you didn't hear before, I did say that, yeah, if you're driving up the centre of Australia, you'll see all of a sudden the road changes, and a lot of people don't know why. It's actually to create runways for the Royal Flying Doctor Service on the highways in case they need to land planes there, in case of car accidents and stuff. So definitely not a cheap thing to run or organise. Really worth your money going towards, guys. So get your donations in. Make sure you put them towards incentives. It's all worth everything that you can spare.
All right. Well, going back to the Tom-Toms again, and their side of the story is that they reported back to Benito that they got beaten by the Time Sweepers, who used time controls on them and stole their big crystal fragment. Benito is really annoyed at this and demands that you do something about the time controls, so we're set to steal the treasure known as the Time Control Neutralizer, which is exactly what it sounds like. So, after doing that little set of tutorials there, we've been given a new weapon that replaces our slingshot. Just a small pistol called the Pig 38. All the weapons have silly names. But it's an actual weapon that can deal damage now. which means we're not as restricted of how we do things and what weapons we use, although when we get to team fights, it's still faster to find better weapons. Now here, the game is encouraging us to use one of the new space controls, a hypercloak. Hypercloak renders you invisible so long as you move slowly. If you move slowly. It's just much faster to just shoot at the guards. So we shoot them to get them out of the way, press the block, and open up the path. This level is really long because it's full like crawling through holes, pushing blocks, and carrying bags, so there's going to be a few places where you can read some donations. Actually, in fact, right now, because this is the first block pushing puzzle.
No donations in at the moment, but definitely
really?
just a reminder to
Chat.
make sure you do get your donations in, guys.
Yeah, get them in.
We've got dono time, the perfect time to read them, and there's none for me to read. You're making my job inept, or my ability to read donos non-existent. But definitely, when you do donate, guys, make sure you get them in towards any of the incentives coming up. We do have Isn't chucking his towards nipple percent, so Super Mario Odyssey nipple percent is where you get shirtless Mario about 10 minutes into the run, so
you know what?
I will add that one coming up.
If any donations come in for Runner's Choice, put that towards nipple percent as well, because I'll want to see that as well.
Because that's my host one as well. All about seeing Mario's nipples.
Alright.
And we also do have some Pokemon names coming up tomorrow that we still need some runs for Cubfu, and $14 for a Sobble name at the moment. So if you do want to snipe that and name one of these Pokemon in Pokemon Sword tomorrow, get your donations in there.
Okay, so I just did a bunch of stuff there. That room that had all the guards in it, originally you have to push like a boulder to take them all out, but you can just jump over the whole of the back of the room to skip it. And then there's a switch here that reaches up some stairways to get this bag up there as well. Put the bag on that scale there, and that opens the door. So that's how you skip most of that area. So now we've got another block pushing puzzle to do. It's much bigger, but not really that big. Not really that hard either. Yeah, this will be perfect time for donations. Chat, if you have any, put them in.
Still none at the moment, man, but keep on bringing it on. Oh, no, we do have a couple. $11.55 from Nicholas Bruce with no comment, but thank you very much for your generosity. And if you are still around in chat, let us know so we can put that towards something. And we also have $22.46 from Anonymous that says, this host is too good at their job. Here is 39 to nipple percent. You convinced me. So thank you very much. Not only do we get Mario's nipples, we also get to give to the wonderful charity that is the Royal Flying Doctor Service. So thank you very much.
Well, if you can't donate because you're poor, then feel free to ask me questions in the chat. I might not skim them over though sometimes, so the host can maybe read them out for me if there's no donos to read. Also, this is another example of the guards being blind. Just sneak up right behind them and take the time control neutralizer. So you have to do that puzzle to just have the treasure be released. And in Indiana Jones fashion, the moment we take the treasure, the ruins start collapsing. So now we need to get out. Again, since we can't move very fast or double jump this treasure, we need to use these moving blocks here to elevate the treasure to higher levels. Since basically this room's a big old spiral going upwards, and carrying a bag throughout it, so it's just real slow. So again, I don't know stuff or anything.
No other donos in just yet, but I will like to update everyone that, my choice, runner's choice, everyone's choice of nipple percent is currently at 28% of its $250 set, $70.20 that one's currently at, so we can keep chipping away at that over the next little while, and I believe that run is tomorrow, so we should be able to get that met. And like I said before, we do have the next war that's going on is a hat in time, where you can pick that we either play as Hat Kid or Bow Kid, and Hat Kid is currently winning at $6.09 over Bow Kid at $3.91. So if you're not sure what you want to put your donations towards, in chat just type incentives in. I'm sure someone will be able to link it now, and we'll get the incentives list up, and you can put your money towards that, even if it's retrospectively. And I have just been told by Nicholas Bruce, the $11.55 that came in with no comment, that is also going towards nipple percent. So thank you very much, Nick.
Alright, and we're out. Normally there's you have to go all the way back the way you came, through the guard room and a bunch of other places to get out of the time control neutralizer, but you can just drop down to the lower level and take an alternate route out. It's much faster. Okay, so we got out of the slow area.
So, this...
Benito can't pronounce neutralizer. Now we're going to take it out for a spin against some more time sweepers. Another team fight. Do we have good weapons available? No, not by the looks of it. Okay. What we want to find most of all is either the crossbow or the bazooka. Those are the two weapons that deal the most damage. Fortunately, the crossbow also has incredibly low ammunition. Oh, but there's a bazooka. Dropped right in front of me. As you can see, the bazooka just instantly KOs all the enemies. And it has a lot more ammo. And also jump before shooting at enemies, because sometimes the enemies have a nasty habit of jumping out of the way of the shots I throw at them. And that can waste valuable ammo if you don't aim right. Got trick shot. So yeah, that wasn't the best team fight either. But it's clear now. Oh yeah, we pretty much just beat up Blinx there, because that was supposed to be Team Blinx that was harassing the Tom-Toms. Don't worry though, he's still fine. And that's Tom-Tom Stage 2. And we've got the time control neutralizer. Tom-Toms are a little bit more even footing now. Now we're going to go not back to the time sweepers, but to the next Tom-Tom stage. They found the next piece of the big crystal in that beast there, the Icy Ton Dragon, but they aren't able to beat it with the weapons that they have. So we're gonna find a weapon that can beat it. A tank. Fortunately, it's in the pretty much the worst level in the game. The Pirate's Graveyard, which is the ice level. There's a lot of slippy, slidey ice physics everywhere. A lot of tight jumps. And it's just a lot of things awful in general. Hopefully I can get the skips though.
Just while we have a bit of time, man, I do have $2.82, again from Isnert, saying, fun fact, there's also a Fun Run website for everything about Blinx 1 and 2. Visit blinxthetimesweeper.com to learn everything about the game and even join the Discord. Shameless plug, lol. And that is also going to Super Mario Odyssey nipple %.
I was going to plug the community at the end of the run. Jeez, you're doing it for me. Okay, I didn't line myself up there.
And also we have hit 900 dollary dues as well, so
yes,
well done everyone. It's all going to a great place, so you know, let's try and hit 1,000 as quick as we can, you know, get that first K out of the way. Oh, look, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. You know, all of it's going to such a great cause, guys, so get your donos in, make sure you get them towards some incentives. Definitely worth anything you can spare for the charity.
Oh, dang it. Almost got it. What I'm trying to do there is the TomTom's 3 Ice Skip. If I got it right, I should be able to skip all the downstairs area, the lower level. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. And we just, with that jump, you skip all of the lower level of this area of that level. So if you can get it first try, it's quite a nice time save. Don't have to activate every single cannon, you can just jump around that first iceberg. And we get to the next trip, the rope skip walk. Rope walk. Supposed to grab onto the edge of the rope and climb, like hang climb across it, but hanging from ledges is slow. So you want to do the much more risky strat of jumping on top of the rope and tiptoeing across that way. It is very tight to do so, and if you fall, you die. You can do it here on this rope too, but I really prefer not to. Not only is this rope a lot harder to get on top and walk across, it's also a lot more of a time waster if you miss it. Because the first rope, if you fall down, you die and you go back to the checkpoint. It's a real quick restart. However, if you fall on that rope, you just fall down to the lower level of the level. The stage, and you have to climb all the way back up, and that would waste a lot more time. So clear the ice there, and we found the tank. Also, these alarms here just drop bombs instead of guards, so I don't hesitate to just run through them. Okay, so we found our tank, but there's a few parts missing from it. So we gotta go find the spare parts and fix the tank. Also, now some time sweepers have appeared. Or more accurately, guard sweepers. Let's take their safety health. We're going to press this switch here to switch off the lights. When the lights are off, guards aren't able to see you at all, so you can sneak past. But I want to take out this guard, because if I don't, I'll be in a really bad position for me when I'm coming back later. Just go through those lasers and flip the switch to unlock the next part. Thing is, to get past most of the barricades with the treasure bags, you need to use another space control that we use here called the warp tunnel. You can't double jump while carrying the treasure, so what we gotta do is put the treasure down, climb over the obstacle, and put down a warp tunnel. We go back, pick up the treasure, and go through. Now I stand a little bit further back behind there. Also, it doesn't really matter if I trigger that alarm because I'm already in the next room. Also, I can't have two alarms going at once, so I can just go through these lasers and their bombs will drop. Besides, the guards will disappear soon enough. But there's like a little zone right behind the obstacles. If you're holding a treasure bag while you're there, it'll tell you to go put the bag down so you can use the warp tunnel. So if you stand a little bit behind that trigger, you can avoid activating it, and that saves just a little bit of time. God should disappear any moment now. There we go. Press the light here so those two guards there won't bother us. Drop another warp tunnel. Pick up the bag. And go through. That's the second cutscene trigger right there behind those crates, saying the same thing as earlier about using the warp tunnel, so that's why I put myself a little bit further back again. Put the treasure down, and I jump here to avoid another cutscene trigger to notify you that guard's falling asleep. Because if you're on the ground, it only triggers when you're on the ground, so you can jump over it to avoid activating the trigger. Now we get back there and go back to the tank. That just there said that they captured a time sweeper, and they told them that there's an imminent threat regarding the destruction of the universe. Benito doesn't care. In his words, romance and treasure are the only things that are important to them, and to accomplish those, we need a tank. So we got a tank. We're going to have a brief tutorial that we're going to skip. Oh yeah, you only really trip on the ice if you bonk into something. And also the green patches on the ground don't have ice physics, so if you go over them you lose all the ice momentum. Now here's the first TomTom's boss that we have, the Icy Ton Dragon. We're going to use this tank to beat them. This is actually a really tricky boss to get right. Oh good, we killed two of the heads with a single shot. That's really handy. Because the amount of ammo that you need to beat this boss is 15 shots minimum. 4 for the head and a 5th for the core, 3 cycles each. However, you only start the fight with 16 shots maximum in your ammo. So if you can only afford to miss 1 shot. Luckily, I killed 2 heads with a single shot there, so that helps, and I got an ammo drop, so I'm all set. But yeah, and this tank aims really weirdly, so if you're having trouble and you missed a shot, then it can quickly spiral out of control if you don't get anything else. Because the only other ways to get items by breaking those ice pillars nearby, and what they drop is completely random. Like they can drop primary ammo, secondary ammo, which lets you launch a missile to take out 2 heads at once, so it's good if you get that. It can drop nothing, or it can drop a bomb that can hurt you. But it's really unreliable. It's kind of odd to explain that boss. It's just like you kind of get a feel for how it moves around. But yeah, that's TomTom Stage 3. We've gotten ourselves another piece of the big crystal, which means we now have 2 of them for the TomToms.
Yeah, I'm
And
on a roll.
another fact explained in those cutscenes is that Benito is told by Mina that his dreams will come true because he touched the big crystal. And one of the things that he's dreamed about is strange time monsters that've got barriers around them. Anyway, we're going back to the Time Sweepers. And we're going to head to the Pirate's Graveyard too. Because we're detecting the big crystal piece there as well. So we just got another set of tutorials to skip. And before we head off though, I'm going to do a little bit of shopping.
Well, if you're doing shopping, sounds like I can sneak in a quick donation, is that correct?
I guess.
Excellent. So $22.07 from Chris Steele that just says, "Oh no, Mick," and the donation goes towards nipple percent. So thank you very much, Chris.
You're about to see it. Yeah, what we're buying here is a level 2 sweeper. We do that because it's going to allow us to do a lot more damage. In the first game, having a higher level sweeper allows you to suck up bigger trash and use that trash to deal more damage. It's sort of the same in this, except the bigger trash doesn't actually do more damage. Having a higher level sweeper just increases your damage flat across the board with any trash piece. So that's why we get it, because we're going to use it for the boss fight later. It's going to come in very handy. Also, this level is very short. Because of a good old time control we're going to get from this guy, fast forward. But before we do that, we have to bear witness to the greatest cutscene in the game.
Oh no, Mick!
I really don't know why that's such a big name.
Come in, operator. Mick has been captured by the Tom-Toms. I'm going to
I really
rescue him.
don't know why, but people love it, so there it is, for you. You're annoying. That time monster there always gets in the way. But we're going to use this fast forward to get us to jump all the way up here, and we just jumped to the end of the stage. We open up all those lids, and that's going to open up the secret passage to where Mick is. Unfortunately, I didn't get all my hops right. Because if you get it right, you can avoid that cutscene playing and get right on top of that entrance there and jump down to the cage before the mission objective says rescue the time sweeper comes up. And you can do that, you can just skip seeing that and save a few seconds. I mean, it's really sporadic of how that works. Now we need to hurry up to the end of the cavern. The Tom Gang set up some time bombs ahead of us. If they explode, they'll flood the cave with freezing water. But we're not going to disable any of the time bombs, because we can just get right to the end before any of them blow up. So we're going to pick up a few flaming arrows. That's one of the time bombs there, and we're going to leave it be. We're going to get from you, Mr. Skelly Man, another fast forward. Use it along the run. I'm going to use it in combination with a little bit of ice momentum to cross that gap there. I'm going to take out this skeleton so we can get both a pause and a record. I'm going to need both. Disable that time barrier. And we're going to use a record here in order to press a switch. I didn't actually mention it before, but those big blue shining barriers are called time barriers, and they have an effect of the time control of anything that's inside them. And to destroy them, you need to play the time control of the same color and then attack the sphere. And that pops them. There we need to press 2 switches at once, so we use record. I just realized I stood on the wrong switch. So that means that time monster is now going to attack me. Luckily I had health. I was supposed to stand on the far end of the switch because then that was far enough that it doesn't draw the aggro of that time monster. If you die there, that actually has the possibility to soft lock the game, so luckily I still had some health. It would have been bad if I soft locked the game. Probably would have had to load up one of my other save files, and we wouldn't have the special names anymore. But anyway, we got to the cavern, but unfortunately we were too late and the Tom Tom gang have already obtained the big crystal piece that was here. So we have to capture the remaining members who are still here and interrogate them so we know what the Tom Tom gang are up to. This is the main reason why we get a level 2 time sweeper, because all of our trash pieces that we use here deal a lot more damage. And it takes just 2 quick hits to defeat one of the Tom Tom members. Before, it was like several pieces, and it just took a lot longer. Yeah, the rest of my party all still have level 1 sweepers, and it just triggers iframes and needs 3 shots per member to defeat them. So just getting a level 2 sweeper just helps this fight go a lot quicker. Also, we've got a fast forward now, so we're going to use it to get that guy, and we're just going to snipe him, the last guy up there. Just quickly get a few things, get more ammo and time controls for money. Although we don't actually need money, we've already done all the shopping we need to. Didn't need health though, so we're all good. So we capture the Tom-Toms, and they tell us that they're trying to collect the pieces of the big crystal because their leader, Benito, said a woman in his dreams told them to. Bit of an outrageous story, really. While this is all happening as well, it's not really seen in gameplay, but both sides are also finding stone tablets, which are telling them about like 3 goddesses of time. One who weaves, one who threads, and one who cuts time, I believe it was. Which is in reference to some ancient myth. I really can't remember what it is right now though. But it's saying like if time was ever threatened, then the thread of time is going to be cut, which is probably the disaster that the Time Sweepers are trying to prevent, and what Mina is trying to get Benito to also prevent, unknowingly. Now this, we're going to Time Sweeper Stage 4, and we're going to have something new in this stage. Time Control Combos. Just got a combo cartridge after that tutorial, which lets us use 2 time controls at once, combining the effects, and doubling their length. Which we're going to use for a few puzzles. Alright, and now we have one of the newest skips we've found for this game, the Octobog Skip. We're going to get this lovely Octo Balloon here to try and help us with. If we can just face it the right way. We're going to use him for a damage burst. Ah, he's too far away. Oh, yes! First try! Excellent! That just knocked us up to where the exit of the stage is, and we can travel backwards and then down onto this ledge here, and we've just skipped a bunch of the early portion of the stage. That was just discovered not all that long ago by a new runner, Chris, I believe his name was, and that skips quite a bit of the portion of the first stage. So it's really tricky to get, like the angle you need to damage boost yourself up is rather tight. And now we're fighting barrier time monsters. Oh, dang it. I wasn't supposed to do that. Pressed A one too many times. These are more powerful time monsters. Oh, it was Bacon Guide who found it. Oh, sorry then. But yeah, anyway, you need to use the same color time control in order to defeat them. So blue barriers have to be hit by pause. Green barriers here have to be hit during record. Or actually you have to punch them, and when the record ends, hit the after image. Also, I jumped off the edge there to end the record time control a lot earlier than it's supposed to. Because otherwise I had to wait the entire 10 seconds. And that takes a while. This here is the first time control combo. I used a fast forward plus a pause there. Fast forward to give me momentum to jump the gap and get to this location earlier, and the pause to both take out the time monster and take out a time barrier. Now you're supposed to either destroy every single time barrier in this area or all the time barrier monsters. I go for the monsters because there's a lot less of them, only 4, but I pop some of the barriers anyway because the moment you destroy one of the barriers, the time control immediately ends. So you use that to end the time control quicker and pull out another one. Now, we're going to go back the way we got in here through... This is just for faster movement. We just came this way through the Octobog Skip, and now we can just head right to this area here, now that the bridge is extended. A small reactive here, that fires some more flaming arrows. You can just grab as many of them because they're a good weapon. The game lags slightly a bit here, between these doors opening and closing. Now again to the next area. Managed to find another piece of the big crystal held by a time monster a little farther away from here. Get to the helicopter to get there, we need to defeat more time barrier monsters or make some disconnected gears mesh together. I'm going to go for the gears. And to open this door is rather complex. You have to hit both of these slow panels at the exact same time. Well, I waited a little bit there. Because some people who did that might have tried and done this, run across it, and had it not work. But they have to be synchronized at the same time. So you might have been doing it out of order. That's why I wait a little bit for that to go through. Also, avoid hitting either of those time monsters because that triggers a cutscene. But yeah, these gears here, what we press down in order to open it up. This gear here, though, I was not aware of where this one was until just after I started speedrunning this game. Also, I don't have to push it down all the way. Just push until it goes clunk and it works. But yeah, that gear there, I do not know where that was of all my times of casual playing the game. Also, this pinwheel here is very bad, and if you try to grab the handles, you'll most likely die. So we're going to jump on top of it, and we just skip the third of the stage. It was one of the first tricks that was really ever codified for this game, Pinwheel Skip. Oh no, that's not good. Oh, one of the rewind crystals just fell down. Have to double back for another one. Come on, give me the rewind. Good. Okay, we needed a rewind, otherwise we'll be stuck. Luckily, if you don't have the required time control inventory, the time monsters often respawn, so you can just collect it again. That just wasted a little bit of time. Normally those barrier Tom-Toms there as part of the time barrier monsters that you're supposed to defeat in order to open up the pathway. But if you just use a rewind, they'll vanish and then they just spawn in as you come by. So yeah, it's another reason why pushing the gears is faster for this stage. Then they don't bother you. Also, you're supposed to press that switch to open the door there, but we don't have to. We just use a fast forward, and we can just jump straight to the helicopter, and we've cleared the stage. Also, I will warn you now, the next boss coming up has a bright flashing light epilepsy warning, so I'll warn you when that's about to happen and when it's over. So, be prepared to look away when I say so. It's when I get eaten by the boss. And I do mean that literally, because the boss is a gigantic time monster shaped like Benito.
Just let me know when you're ready, man. I do have a couple of donations here.
Oh, ready. Oh, got the report. Okay, okay, epilepsy warning now. Not over yet, because we're about to go back in and back out again. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, using both bombs and a record there, we can easily just quickly one-cycle this boss, because the bombs do double damage, and we can get an extra hit in quickly with the record, which you're not usually supposed to do, but by timing your shots correctly, and when you use the record, you can quickly just beat this boss using only 2 bombs. And that's another piece of the big crystal. Pretty sure both sides have gotten some off screen at this point, so I'm pretty sure that's like 2 a side? I can't remember. The fan side actually has an info guide on where every piece of the big crystal is obtained and how many. You can get most of them through the gameplay, but quite a few are gotten off screen. But anyway, we're back to the Tom-Toms. What's happening now is that the Tom-Toms have gotten word of the stuff that happened to the Sky Castle with time barrier monsters and a big monster that looked like Benito. And Benito's really confused because that sounds just like the dream that he had yesterday. So he sends in the Tom-Toms to investigate. Here, we're going to do some shopping really quick and grab ourselves a bazooka. So we don't have to pick up any, or wait on any ourselves. So basically, yeah, Benito tells us to investigate the Sky Castle and figure out what's going on and how to counter the monsters. And speaking of Benito's dreams becoming reality, that happened right at the very beginning of the game, because the Time Sweeper's HQ, the Time Factory itself, actually got attacked at the very beginning of the first cutscene in the game by a group of what looked like record versions of Tom-Toms. The whole place got trashed. But when you first go to the Tom-Toms, it was revealed that they actually didn't do that. It was just, it happened all of a sudden because Benito dreamed about it after he touched the crystal. He just took advantage of the situation, but that's what happened at the start of the game. So here, we try to go to the base, but we can't because the bike got pushed out of the way by the wind being generated by the big windmill. So we've got to find a way to shut it down before we can go across. Take out that just to prevent him being a nuisance later. Sneak across here. We should be in the perfect guard cycle to push this switch and get inside the door with both of them looking away. This map that I'm getting here isn't needed for the run, and it's slower to get because it triggers that cutscene there, but it's a requirement for getting a checkpoint here. And I get it for safety because we're about to do some dangerous jumps. That's not one of the dangerous jumps. What I'm going to do now is do the upstairs skip. If I line myself up here, I can jump straight. Oh, dang it. I think that's the first death that I've done so far. And I guess I should mention that I was planning to donate $10 for every time I died or used a retry. So maybe that's about to add up a bit now. That's one. But yeah, if I get that jump, I avoid having to go to the upstairs section of this level. Oh, got it. Just the right amount of delay on the double jump and the right angle, you can grab onto the edge there and get right to the windmill gears. Use 2 time grenades there. One, because it immediately poofs their blue shield and disables the time control. And a second to actually trigger the pause. Now we've deactivated the windmill. And we can get back to the bike. So that jump that we did lets us avoid going into the upper area. And now we're going to follow it up with the downstairs skip, which avoids us having to go into the bottom area of this base right here. And we've just found out that the time grenades allows us to fight the shielded time barrier monsters and the shielded time sweepers as well. So now with that figured out, we figured, you know, while we're here, let's steal something. And we're set to steal the flight stone of this area. But yeah, that jump there lets us avoid going to actually go into the main base of this area. At least for now. Also, the bazooka helps with those turrets, because it takes 2 shots from the pistol to blow them up, but a bazooka takes 1. Oh, that almost hit me. Now we're gonna do a timing game. Oh, just jumped over the text trigger there. So we've got to get those gears in the background aligned. Oh, that's a bit low. Go for the slow ones first and correct it. Nope, they're not moving. Okay, I'm gonna have to try this again. We need to get all of them aligned so they start moving. There we go. Jump over the text trigger again. Go across the gears, blow up that turret. Then we can press that switch, which in turn shows up another switch. To climb across this precarious bridge here, which is not actually that precarious, just jump from the platforms to the coins, from the platforms to the coins. It's a lot faster and safer than climbing across it. And that opens up the flight stone. Fortunately, it then just immediately drops down into where a large group of time sweepers are. So we need to get around them, take the treasure and get out.
Now, are you cool if I jump in with a couple of donations, man?
I'm actually about to explain a few things.
Alright, just let me know when you're ready.
No, I just messed up. Go ahead. Gotta wait for this to end now.
Alright, so $22.07 from Avery Masula. saying donating for a good cause. I'd like it to go towards Hat Kit incentive, and good luck for the rest of the run, and can't wait to watch the rest of the event. So thank you very much for that. And Hat Kid is currently in front by $25, and we have $2.48 from Mick saying, "Hey, Mick here. Thanks for saving me. You're a real pal, Squish. Good luck with the rest of the missions, but I gotta go. Sincerely, Mick." And that's going to nipple percent for Super Mario Odyssey. So thank you very much, guys.
Okay. We got the treasure and got out before they got us. Also, we have to jump across the gear and get to this bike specifically. When I first played this casually, I didn't realize you had to go to that bike specifically by jumping across the gear. I went to the bike that you went when you first got to the area to begin with, and got all the way to the goal gate, and I was wondering why I couldn't enter the stage. It's silly. But anyway, we obtained the treasure, but we run back real quick because Benito spots a laser gun being used by the Time Sweepers and orders us to go back and get it because it's nice, bright and shiny. Basically another team fight. Fortunately, there's always a guaranteed drop of time grenades at the start, so even though these guys have barriers, that was really good. That was like really good. It didn't take any damage, and I managed to hit them all without missing. So even though we steal a ray gun there, we don't actually get it. You have to buy it from the shop, and we don't need it. Okay, now, we don't actually go to the next stage, but what we do is we have two side missions here. The Time Sweepers find out where the TomTom's base is, and they find that they've got a bunch of Time Sweepers trapped there. So, we have to go and free them. Just takes the health for safety. Thing is here, we can't use our Time Sweeper at all because there's absolutely no pieces of trash here. What we have to do is instead use this hammer, which isn't really the best. It's infinite use, but it's really slow to wind up, and it doesn't always one-hit KO enemies. So the path I take here, going around all the environment pieces, is more laid out to get to all the cages as quickly as possible, without actually attracting the attention of any of the guards, bar one, which we can quickly take out with a few hammer strikes. But if you get all of them following you at once, you can't really do anything, and you're most likely going to take a death. Yeah, smack all the cages open, and boom, we rescue the friends. Fortunately though, too late to witness this. Well, we skip it, but we just witnessed Benito taking off the new improved Benito battleship, fresh with the flight stone that we just stole. And with that, Benito decides to go over to the damaged Time Factory itself and steal one of the big crystal fragments directly from the Time Sweepers. So this is the only stage in the game where the TomToms have different background level music from what they usually do. Like the Time Sweepers have unique music for every stage, and it's really nice. Basically you have to sneak around the area, not get spotted by any of the guards, and get to the big crystal. I'm gonna hide in this garbage cart and get to the next room. Before you ask, yes, I know I can skip this cutscene, but I don't intentionally because there's an item later in the level that's running on a global cycle, and if I were to skip this cutscene, it would be far away from where I can use it, so I'd be wasting the time anyway of waiting for that to come around rather than waiting on the cutscene to play. Watching it just helps line it up better. Actually does save in-game time doing it this way, but we run off real time, so it doesn't really matter. this crane right here. Just the perfect time for us to catch a ride on it. Because it just would have been moving over to the other side had we skipped the cutscene. We've had to wait for it to come back. And as bad as the guards are being in this game... Oh! That's never really happened before. Never landed on the laser, but their guards have appeared. Anyway, it doesn't really matter since we just flipped off the alarm right there, the switch. Really bad security just leaving the switch to turn it off, just sitting right next to the item that you're supposed to prevent it from stealing. Words. Anyway, only now, after we blow up a hole in the debris for us to get out from, do the guards take exception and send some to stop us. It's the only time when we use this space controller decoy to get those two to stop following us. However, we don't do it for this guard because we're going to get him to damage boost us a bit. So a single shot to push us a little bit faster. And we can make it to the goal gate. We just nicked a big crystal piece. That's that special stage done. Now we go on to stage 5. We've managed to locate another piece, and that's in the time oil well world. Last rank up exams. Just teaching us how to use the sniper rifle. Again, we skip it. Now we're going to buy a few more materials for this last mission. We're going to do some damage boosting. And we're also going to buy some space bubbles because we're going to use them in the stage. We're going to get some health extensions and max out all of our health. Going to do a rather finicky and inconsistent damage boost. Gotta remember the space bubbles as well, because they're going to come in handy for this part after the damage boost. Okay, the story here is that they're trying to find the big crystal, but something's jamming their radar signal. So we've got to find out what's jamming the signal and stop it. Some sort of kink in time is happening behind this big old oil tank. Oh, missed. But what we're going to do is go and try and blast ourselves up to the upper level. And we got it first try! Oh! That's a pog moment. First try damage, but that usually takes quite a few times of just blasting to try and get yourself up there. It's amazing I got that first try. So before, usually, you're supposed to go around this big other area and either find some dynamite and blow up that tank, or break all the oil pipes to drain it so it can be pushed out of the way. But if you get that, you can just go straight to the end here and end the stage. That saves like 2 minutes. That's probably one of the biggest skips in the game. Also, I had to go down the hill first and trigger the cutscenes because it's really finicky there about the order that you trigger those cutscenes in. If I had pushed the boulder down first, it would have actually soft-locked the game. Because it would have gotten confused about how you were supposed to... where exactly you were. Now, with emissions being plugged, we managed to find where the big crystal piece is, so we're going to leave, but before we do that, we're going to set up a trap so the time sweepers can't follow us. So we're going to fill this big old tank here with oil, and then blow it up to set a large fire. This is where the space bubbles come in. These guys are very annoying and very distracting. They just love to come and pounce on you while you're trying to push these valves. However, if I put a space bubble on top of them, that keeps them pinned down while I push the valves. So it just helps keep them out of the way. Now normally before we found that pipe skip, there was some space bubbles earlier in the level that we got, but since we're doing the skip now, we have to buy them from the shop before we begin. It's just slowly pushing some of these oil pipe valves and fixing some donors or two.
No donos at the moment, but up next we have Crazy Jesse's Weird and Wonderful Bootleg Donkey Kong. But after that, we do have Hat in Time. There is a current incentive where we're battling it out between Hat Kid and Bo Kid. Hat Kid, $25 in the lead, so get your donos in if you wanna. If you're a Bo Kid and you want to see Bo Kid in Hat in Time.
Okay, good, that didn't disappear. Sometimes that has an odd habit. If that space bubble has an odd habit, even after you throw it, it'll just straight up vanish and not work. So I'm glad that didn't happen this time. Now, usually you do this valve first because it's closest to the door, but we do it last because it's closest to this door. Because we're going to use another skip called the reverse escape. Because normally you're supposed to get on some oil pumps and travel along those to escape after pushing all the valves. But I'm going to go back the way we came. Not supposed to because usually the door's closed. Also, Benito accidentally presses the button to launch the missile early, so we've got 3 minutes to escape. But if we just stand on top of this light, we can jump up, grab the top of the door, and get over it. And we're back. We can skip the way we came. And that makes the escape a lot quicker. Those two skips were found pretty much right next to each other, like at the same time. It just cut the time spent on this stage just down by a ton. If you can get them both really quickly first try, it's just insane how much time you save. Now we fight on the stage's boss, Shadow Claw. It functions really similarly to the giant Mandrake boss, the Time Sweepers. What you do is get a free hammer and you use it to lure the boss onto those pads and you smash them open to reveal light, cutting them down to those little pieces, which you then blow up to defeat him. Same goes as this has a damage cap as the previous boss, but since you have blast weapons and AoE effects, you can catch multiple parts at the same time. So it's technically possible for this boss to be true cycled, but it's very rare. It requires all the pieces to like clump up together in one big group. I've only done it like once in a run, but that was really quick. That was a good fight. So now we've got yet another piece of the big crystal, giving the Tom-Toms 4. Apparently, I think they got some off-screen in between missions. That was the last Tom-Tom's mission. Now we go to the Time Sweepers. One last rank up mission, which will tell us to use how to use the mechanic in this last stage, the rotating pole, which you can suck yourself to and then fling yourself off, like we're using centrifugal force to fling yourself to areas. You skip a lot of those though, because it's really tricky to use. Anyway, what's happened here is that the Time Swoopers are also tracking the big crystal piece, but now the entire area is on fire because of the trap we just laid from the Tom-Toms. So now we've got to go put it out so we can access further in the stage. We can use a quick record to press these buttons. It's not really quick. So to clear the stage, you either have to flick switches to deactivate these burning oil pipes, or you use fire sweeping bullets to take out the fires that are burning around the area. And I don't like doing that because not only is targeting the fires with the fire sweeping bullets tricky, but they also act like bombs. They have like an explosive radius, and I hit myself all the time with them, so I just don't trust myself with them. I'm fairly certain the oil pipes are faster anyway. Also, this stage has my favourite uses of time control in the game, personally. Time control combos. We'll see that in just a bit, but it combines both fast forward and slow. Oop, I activated rewind a bit too quickly there. Almost missed the spot to hit him with. So we'll flip another oil pipe here. And we go down here. There's another oil pipe and some monsters waiting. We want to take out this guy because he drops a fast forward for us. We're going to use in just a moment. This bit is a bit tricky. You're most likely going to get yourself hit by the rolling fireballs. But here, we use fast forward and slow. Use that, plus the momentum given to us by the fast forward, to quickly get around using that centrifugal pole, and to avoid the trigger for this cannon here. Got around it. That cannon there took me ages to figure out how to skip. It's a big rectangle over the whole area. And it's like that catches you as soon as you move into it to trigger the cannon, and it took me a while to figure out how to get around it. Turns out there's like a tiny little gap on the right hand side that you could just squeeze yourself through if you aim yourself correctly. Even if you try to jump around in the empty area to the left, it will just grab you and force you back into the middle. Yeah, it's annoying. Anyway, that's the first stage. Now, we're going to use yet another slow and fast forward to get to right at the end of this stage too. So you're either supposed to find and defeat time barrier monsters or run to the end. Running to the end is much quicker. So, we grab the time controls from these monsters. And use the combination here. This is going to take us all the way to the end of the stage. Oh, those are in the bad position. Oh, shoot, I didn't make it. That's actually bad. Those were in trust. I'm going to retry checkpoint, because if I used a retry there, it would have actually cancelled out the slow part of the fast forward on slow. And it would have been just left half the combination. But anyway, that should land me right there at the end of the stage. How many deaths was that? 2? I believe that was 2. Now with that out of the way, we get to fight pretty much the worst boss in the game, in my opinion, the Silver Claw. He takes a really long time to beat. Not only does he have the most health, but it just takes a long time to beat him is all. The piece that escaped from the Shadow Claw that we fought before merged into this guy and gave him Big Shadow to attack us with. We hit him once to grab a rewind control from him. Now we need to gather up 8 bits of ammunition. So that's the minimum that you need to beat him. It's also the main reason why I buy an ammo extension. Because beforehand, if you don't buy any ammo extensions, you're just stuck with a maximum of 5 ammo. And it just becomes a bit of a chore to beat this boss with only 5 max when you need a lot more than that. So it's mainly a safety thing. So I've got to time when I break these pillars open because that shockwave can destroy your ammo. Okay, good enough. We hit the rewind. We need to get that. While it's not like this, oh, luckily I got a spare. Just got to hit him repeatedly. Don't actually have to hit him in the eye. Just got to hit him in the body. Oh, goodness, I was scared there for a moment. I thought that missed. Oh, it's just really finicky. And also because this planetoid that we're on is really round, the curvature means that a lot of the times your shot can just go really awry and just miss. But yeah, that's that boss done, and the Time Sweepers have gotten their 4th piece of the big crystal too. So now the Time Sweepers and the Tom-Toms have half of the big crystal each. Unfortunately, since it's not all whole and back together, it's not really solving the problem for the Gods of Time. And now, after learning everything they had in the stone tablets about the Gods of Time, and everything else, they find out that the gods are just going to drop their pair of scissors onto the world, which transforms into a gigantic demon, which is going to destroy everything. So now we're going to have to go fight it with the pieces of the big crystal that we have. So this is the final boss, by the way, so it's going to be time soon. So get on that.
Just quickly, man, Blinx donates $2.82 saying, "Hey Squish, don't mess up. Lol."
We won't. So this fight is split into 3 different phases. The first is that it sends a bunch of shielded time monsters at you. Now, all I need to do is get as many out of their shells as possible so I can hit them all at once with a single time control. I want to get down to at least 7 remaining, because then, when that happens, all the rest of the time monsters pop out of their shells immediately. And I can get them cleared within 2 cycles. That triggers the second phase. Where I have to get the pieces of the big crystal off him because he nabbed them from us. Take some quick health. We've got to shoot him with a bomb, hit a pause, turn around, and kill those time monsters before they grab the piece of the big crystal that I knocked loose. Because if you don't get that quick enough, those time monsters, even if you pause time, will nab the piece of the big crystal and become really powerful and annoying to deal with. So you got to quickly hit them before they get the big crystal. Okay, we're just got it in the final phase where we shoot, the Tom-Toms appear, give us their pieces of the big crystal, and we shoot them all at once to defeat a monster. So get ready on time, because we're about to about to finish the run. And time.
Yo, good job, man. I'm the 1:37:52.
1:37:52.
Yeah.
Not the best run, but that's a lot. All things considered, that was pretty good. That was a lot of the bosses early in our game didn't go well, but I got a bunch of decent RNG here and there in the stages, and I didn't really mess up all that much. I only died twice, so I guess I'll be donating $20 to the marathon after. Alright, just want to make a few quick shout-outs. Shout-outs to Shady Underscore for being pretty much the only other runner, mainly, who ran this game, until Chris S97 also joined in recently. But Shady Underscore is currently the world record holder of this game with 1:31:42. I swear I will bop you eventually. Also, just shout-outs to the Blinx Corp's Discord for just keeping the community around this game alive. Really bunch of friendly folks who just all love showing what they love about this game, and also lots of cat pictures. That's always a bonus. If you want to join them, you can go to the Blinx Timesweeper fan site and find a link there to join up. Also, there's a bunch of people who would love, like I am, Shady is, and a bunch of other people willing to tell everyone else how to run the game if you want to also run this as well. We're here to help if you want to join. Also, thanks to ASM just for letting me join in this marathon. This is the first time I've ever been in a speedrunning marathon at all, and I'm really glad I got to show off this game and participate. Just thanks for the opportunity.
Well, thanks, CEO, but we're not
No problems at all, friend. Alright guys, in the chat, can we get some clappers for On Owl? Appreciate your time and the run, man.